It's phenomenal. It's amazing. I'm going to try not to preach to you today. Now, at the registration table, you will all be given an assignment group. Let me see here. I'm going to separate my notes a little bit here. Can we put up the parking lot, the map? It's on your last page. We've prepared these for you just to be familiar with the stadium. Who has not been to Mackay Stadium? Anybody here? Okay. We want to give you just an outline of the parking lot, the field, the stage. There are different sections that we just want you to be familiar with. This is the simple layout. Okay, to my right, this is the north side. Yes, this is the north side, the public parking. We want that public parking available for all of our guests. You will have parking. Yes, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Simeon. Can we give Simeon a hand? Thank you, Simeon. That's the southwest corner. That section is going to be for you to park in. Your registration just below that is right there. We want you to come park there, and the registration table and all the documentation has to be there. We will have volunteers there. Our floor managers, our volunteer floor managers will be there before you arrive. And we're going to take note, make sure that we have everybody accounted for. We'll go through the registration. And on that day, you will be given a section, an assignment, A, B, and C. That information will be on a wristband that you will be given on that day. Hallelujah. Stand by as you pray. And as you pray the prayer of salvation with Leah. You know, Leah she's going to be interviewing different people on the day of. We have different guests that are coming. Pastors from the U.S., pastors from Reynosa and Mexico will be here on that day. We just met the pastor of the National Day of Prayer for the country of Mexico. Hallelujah. Listen, the country of Mexico, the president of the National Day of Prayer. We met this man by God's appointment this past Monday. It was beautiful. In addition to that, we met the president of the National Day of Prayer for Tamaulipas, the state, right here, 20 minutes away. We met the president of the state for Tamaulipas, National Day of Prayer. Awesome. And we met with the pastor of one of the largest pastors associations right here in Reynosa. So these three men were at a meeting in McAllen. I'm just going to share this brief testimony with you because God's aligning, He's connecting these dots. So the National Day of Prayer, they're hosting their prayer event on March 6th, like the following week. And they said, how do we get involved with this? Would you guys consider coming to Reynosa with the stadium gathering? It's like, hallelujah. I mean, we were talking about it. It was the talks. And these guys are asking, how can we be a part of it? And by the way, would you come and help us do this in Mexico? Only God can do that. Only the Lord. So we're going to cross into the border this upcoming week. Please keep us in your prayers. You have to see that God's answering your prayers. God's answering your prayers. Pastors, God's answering your prayers. The body of Christ, God hears your cry. He's aligning these dots. He's connecting us. So Leah will be interviewing different people. We're going to give people an opportunity to share what the word that they are carrying for the United States and for Mexico. The spirit of unity is being honored. God is being honored through our unity. You know, another word for unity is love. Let that just sit for a minute. What you're responding to is love. What people who have felt hopeless, they're responding to is love. It's Jesus. Okay. Watch and understand the instructional video. We're going to work on a video that we will email to you. Again, we want to have the text information, the digital decision card available for you. We're going to work on a video, so that will be also emailed to you. That's why it's really important that we have your contact information, your email information, so we can make sure that you are completely ready to go on the day of and before the gathering. Be ready to assist anybody with the digital decision card process. Things could go wrong with technology. It's technology. Anything could go wrong with it. So, in addition to having the digital decision cards, we're going to have a hard copy. Each of you will be given 3 to 5 cards that look just like this. Now, these are very important because we believe we're going to have we're believing for 7,000 young people to come to the stadium gathering on the day of. Students, high school students, middle school students from all across the Rio Grande Valley. We're believing for the young people to come to this gathering. So it's really important. Listen, it's really important that we have the right name. We capture their phone numbers. We capture their email. But also, are you still in school? Yes or no? Yes. Which school? We want to find out what school they're attending and hopefully like their mascot. I understand Edinburgh has like 5 or 6 high schools. How do you keep track of what student? I live in Edinburgh and I go to high school in Edinburgh. Which campus? It's really important, and I'm going to share with you why that's so important. FCA has come on board to help us with the harvest. Hallelujah. Listen, this is really important. We want all of the young people that respond to Jesus, that make a decision to give their hearts, surrender their hearts to Jesus. We want to make sure that we are able to send those people to the right huddle coach. We want to make sure that those people, these beautiful, precious souls, are discipled by our partnership with FCA. Amen. We want FCA to receive these ones and disciple them. We met with the FCA leaders just last couple weeks ago, and they said, our goal this year is to be on every single campus. Our goal this year is to disciple more believers into the kingdom. Disciple them. Keep them saved. Train them up. Help them to be soul winners. So our job is really, really important. Hallelujah. Only in the physical decision card, when the convert does not have a smartphone, again, anything can happen. We're trying to make this process as easy as possible, so many people will be able to text. But if they do not, you're going to have pens, you're going to have decision cards, and we want you to be alert. There are, as we mentioned, there will be 3 sections, section A, B, and C. And we'll go over that shortly, but I want you to know, if you are in the A section, most likely you will be on the field. And we're not trying to pair people up. If you are the first 100 people through the gate, you are section A. If you are the second 100 people that come through the gate, you will be section B, and so on. C will be the next grouping. So we're not assigning seats. We just want you to know that we are trying to cover every section of the stadium. I do want to make a note, though. I'm afraid of losing people who respond to Jesus. What about you?
Yeah.
All right, so something that we've talked through is this. Can we go back to the map, please? The stands are section B and C. You can see that. Right there, section B in yellow, and C right there. When somebody responds and they were sitting in the stands, instead of asking them to come down, I want you, if you are the altar worker in that section, I want you to be aware. I want you to see that person raising his hand or her hand. As the altar worker, I want you to see if that person's having problems with their dumb phone because it didn't work, or the system crashed because we had 77,000 people respond at the same time. The program crashed, and now they're looking around like, what do I do? That's your cue. When people start to look around like, yikes, it's those great big eyes. You see the conviction, but you see them looking around like, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. I don't know what. That's your cue. Brother, sister, lovingly approach them. You walk up the stairs. Hi, my name is. Hi, my name is. I'm so glad you made a decision to follow Jesus. Love them. Thank you for making the best decision of your life. And if the dumb phone breaks or it doesn't work, use the decision cards, hard copies that you will be given on that day. Fill out the information. We don't want to lose anybody. So we want to make sure that we try the digital stuff. We're trying. But we also want to have a hard copy just in case. Okay? I love that. Turn in all completed decision cards at with your altar captain, myself, and Door of Hope Church, Brother Joe and Louie. Are you guys here? I talked. Yep, I'm sitting right back there. My team. They're going to help me as my altar captains on that day. They're going to help me keep track of all of the decision cards, all of the pins, everything that pertains to the altar call. They're going to help me keep track of that information so we don't lose a single person. We want to make sure that we capture all of those decision cards. Altar captains will be recognized with a white shirt. We're going to ask our altar captains to wear the white shirt and a green wristband. So they'll have a great big wristband on them. And we want you to continue to pray for all the new converts and the harvest in America. Come on. Now, something we want to make sure, and I want to be cautious in how I say this. Please don't hear me critiquing, okay? Hear the flow of what I'm trying to say. It may be your responsibility as an altar call worker to interview somebody in your home church. That might be your job in your home church. For this gathering, because I don't know if you are a trained counselor, professional counselor, I don't want you or I don't want the ministry as servants to step over a line or overstep a boundary that we may not be ready for. Can you hear me?
That's right.
I don't want you to sit down with somebody. Now let's have coffee and let's get a cigarette out. Let's hear all your problems. I'm kidding. It's not time for us to sit down with them and interview them. We want that to happen through the follow-up program that we have in place. We want to be able to hear that person, write down their documentation, and go to the next person. We're going to have a follow-up team through these churches that are on our website as participating churches. We want pastors. We want your team, your church members to help us with the discipleship after the event. Okay? I don't want to offend anybody, but I need to say that now. It's not our cue to walk somebody through a healing right then. No. I want us to, if we see somebody that is needing help, you see they're manifesting. Do we understand? We see somebody that is manifesting. Instead of drawing attention to that loved one, that person, that dear one, instead of doing that, grab your altar call captain. Find me. Find one of your altar call captains. We will direct these ones, these special ones, to a ministry tent. Pastor Alma Rodriguez and Dr. Joanna Walker, we will have a ministry tent at the event for anyone that needs special care. Follow me? I don't want that responsibility to land on you. If somebody's trying to videotape, oh, look at these crazy Christians, they just came down to the valley and they made a mess, and people are rolling around on the ground, and I don't want that. We don't need that. We want Jesus to be glorified. Amen. We don't want the enemy or distractions or anything that could look out of control to be a distraction from the gospel, from the purpose of why we're here. We're here to bring unity. Listen, you need to understand, there are denominations that may not believe the same doctrine that you believe, working together. And what we've told them is, we are not going to preach the baptism of the Holy Spirit. He may do that, but we're not going to preach that. We're not going to walk people through deliverance on a broad scale like that. We're not going to do that. We're going to preach the kingdom. We're going to preach the kingdom of heaven. We're going to preach the gospel of Jesus. He's going to save souls. And then we will make an appointment with that dear brother and sister that needs extra help. Can we agree? Yeah. All right. I think you hear my heart. We don't want to distract. We want to keep Jesus in the center. All right. Requirements. Review the mobile and the physical decision cards prior to the crusade. Now, we can make an exception on this next one. You must be at least 16 years of age. Most of you are above that. You must be physically able to bear the workload, walk and climb stairs throughout the venue as you will be assisting during the event. This would not be, gentlemen, the day to wear your steel-toed boots. It's going to be, they're heavy. Ladies, this would not be the time to wear your 6-inch, heels. You're going to be walking up and down the stairs. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to, you might be able to do that. You might be able to run in high heels. Cool. High heels are not allowed on the field. They're not allowed on the field at the stadium. They're not allowed. And we don't want to have to pay to repair their field. So please wear flat shoes. Make sure to wear shoes with covered toes. Somebody could step on you. Yeah. You're responsible for your food. Now, we will provide water and some snacks, but we're not going to run down to Taco Palenque and get everybody a number 6. Ain't going to happen. Oh, you like number 2? Ain't going to happen. Please think ahead, plan ahead. If you're on medication, you need medication, or it's going to be hot and you take medication and you can't be in the sun for a long period of time, please, please, please take extra measures to prepare for that. Again, we will have water and there are drinking fountains also, but we will have some light snacks, and we will have water prepared for you on the day. So just keep that in mind. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We have an arrangement with Best Western Hotel here in Edinburgh, right there on Klossner. If anybody needs to come on this side of the valley and you want to spend the night or the Field of Bowls, they're giving us the rooms for $81 a night, tax-free. You just have to let them know that you're with the Abundant Grace group, and they can get you a room. Or if you're not having any luck with them for whatever reason, you can call me here at the church, and I'll forward your reservation. So that's a pretty good price, and it's tax-free.
Awesome. Come on. The marketplace is getting involved. That's revival.
Yeah.
God's doing a tremendous work. So again, you're responsible for your food, your travel, and your hotel expenses while volunteering. I'm going to share this with you. I mean, we've had people from Orlando, Florida. They're flying in to be a part of this. We're from Orlando. These are our former church members and worship leaders. They're coming in to be a part of this. Why? Because what is your word has been our word. We've believed for 13 years that we would see a stadium Christianity movement, a stadium movement again birthed in the United States of America. Again, just like what we've seen and heard of with Evangelist Billy Graham and Evangelist Reinhard Bonnke. We're seeing that again. God wants to see a mighty harvest of souls. I love this. We ask you to we ask that you do not bring along children that require adult supervision, as it will interfere with your volunteer duties. Listen, we've done this for years. We have had moms show up, parents show up with 4 or 5 children, and they're like my altar captains, and they're supposed to help me with the harvest. I've had to ask people, just please receive. If you show up and you cannot fulfill your responsibilities, we're just going to ask you to receive. Don't worry about ministry. We want your children to love you, and God will be honored as we all maintain the spirit of unity and the spirit of love. It's okay to receive sometimes. You poured out every day. On this day, you need to be with your children. It's okay. Just let us know so that we can find another altar captain to step in. Is that okay? Thank you. For identification, you will be provided with a green wristband. You will all, as volunteers, you guys will all be given a wristband. It's imperative that you wear it during the event. More details in the registration table. So at the registration table, you will have your pins, you will have decision cards, you will have your wristband, and most likely we're going to have a name badge for you, or a badge that shares with you what section you'll be working in. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. Please dress appropriately and comfortably. Please dress appropriately. You may like to wear your 3-piece suit every day. It's going to be, it's the valley. It's the valley, outdoors. You may not be comfortable all day if you're wearing a 3-piece suit and you're volunteering. So just use your best judgment. I'm not going to tell you how to dress. I've done this before. And this is an 8-hour event. We're used to doing 10-hour events. And I usually wear something very casual, just casual. Tennis shoes, nice shoes to walk around. And usually I walk the entire stadium multiple times trying to help and put out or answer any questions that may come up during the day. So wear comfortable shoes. If you like, I always bring 2 pairs of shoes. I just change out my shoes. You don't need to do that, but that's what I do. There's not a required shirt color for the altar workers, so again, just wear something that you're comfortable in. Wear closed-toed shoes. You'll be on your feet a lot. Be sure to wear comfortable shoes. Your hands will be full of decision cards and pens. Leave large purses and extra items at home. Hallelujah. Listen, we've had people try to bring in ice chests. Ay, Dios mío. Ay, here's my ice chest, and I've got to bring my luggage. I've got to change. I know that I might end up on camera at some point. We have to make it You're beautiful, just the way you are. You're made in the image of Jesus, his beautiful bride. You may not need your big purse that day. Just have a wallet. Bring a wallet. Bring your identification. Bring this minimal. Just consider you're going to be working during the day. You want you to be ready for anything that could come up during the day. It says here, ladies, small purses are suggested if needed. Backpacks are not allowed to be brought into the arena. Again, for security purposes, you guys will be in the stadium before the general attendance is allowed in. So just be ready to go through security. They may want us. So gentlemen, maybe you are, ladies and gentlemen, this is Texas. Maybe you're used to carrying your concealed carry to church. We have paid professionals, police officers that will be at the stadium on that day. Leave your hardware in the car or at home. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring in your gun. It's Texas, I gotta say. Or knives. No knives, heaters, nothing. You know what? I still need to ask that question. I forgot about that. I was asked, the question is, can we bring a fanny pack? I did need to ask, and I forgot to check. I'll double check, and I'll send everybody an update. It is imperative that you wear your altar worker badge the day of the crusade. Please return badges, decision cards, and pins to an altar captain after the altar call. Registration. We want you to arrive at the stadium by 8 a.m. I said 7. My wife said, Larry, you're crazy. Thank Leah for 8 a.m. I know what's going to happen. You're going to pass by the Stripes, and they're having a sale today, and everything's half off. You're going to make a detour. No. Arrive the stadium by 8 a.m. Registration will be held at the south end entrance of the stadium, and follow the volunteer signs. We will have signs out there for you. At 9 a.m., the registration will conclude. So we want to get all of you through registration and to your location, your designated section as quickly as possible. Once you get to your section, we want you to familiarize yourselves. When you come through the gate, you go through registration. We want you to see where the bathrooms are. That's why you are provided the map. People are going to ask you, sir, where's the bathroom? It's right here. With a smile, sir, it's right over here. With kindness. It's over there. No. Open your eyes. No. It's over there. No. I'm being funny. But I'll give you a personal example of what just happened to me. I went shopping. I was looking for a new pair of pants. Ay, Dios mío. I asked, this wonderful young lady. Would you please help me find pants that would fit me? And she said, no. A Noahide? I love that. Listen, I've never, that was my first experience. I was surprised that somebody who's paid to basically to help me spend money in their store said no. Brother or sister, listen, if somebody's asking for instructions, directions, I want you to know. I don't want you to, I want to help us, remove any negative language. I want to help us to be helpful. I want to give you as much information as possible. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Concessions are right over here. Let me take you. You have the answers when it comes to directions or instructions pertaining to the stadium. We don't have all the answers. And if I cannot answer that question, you know what? I'll give you right back. Let me find somebody that can answer that question for you. That alone it's informative. It helps us, again, keep the spirit of excellence and the spirit of unity. We agree. Listen, these notes, we are providing this to you as a tool. You can use these notes in your church. If you are training your altar or your ministry team, use these notes in your church. Teaching somebody or reminding somebody to smile. It's something small, but we need to practice that. Be kind, be informative, be helpful. All right. Where am I? Okay, this was my typo here. At 9 a.m. registration concludes. Be on time and at your designated entrance by 8 a.m. or you will not be able to obtain your section badge and debrief with your altar worker coordinator. Please consider traffic when you're planning your travel time so that you can arrive on time. Security is strict. I already mentioned that. Please wear your badge at all times. All registration, each volunteer will receive a name badge. It will include your assigned section, your group name, or the number of the section that you'll be working in. You'll have decision cards and pins given to you at the point of registration. Do not give your badges to someone else to take your place. In the event that you cannot make it, simply notify us of your emergency. Once registered, you will be escorted by the members of your team to a briefing section prior to being released to go into your assigned section at the stadium, found on your volunteer badge. So again, we're all going to meet we're all going to walk through the registration section. We're going to go right under the tunnel. We will have a quick debrief. You will have your name badge with your section already numbered on that. You'll have your pins and your your decision cards. You will have everything in hand before we break and go to our sections. Cool? Awesome. Your section, please spread out throughout the designated section found on your volunteer badge. I know. We all want to talk about, the football game and the Chiefs, and we want to hang out with our buddy because I haven't seen them forever, and we want to just huddle up, and it's hot, and we want to. No, don't do that. Just remain in the spirit of prayer. Be helpful. Have your eyes open. Look around. Don't stand next to each other. I may want to hold Leah's hand all day, but she wants to get to work. I don't know. Well, she probably won't say that. She'll say something like, "Gotta go to work, son." Kidding. Don't huddle up. Be aware. Familiarize yourself with your section. Spread out. Look around, identify the nearest altar captain, and altar captains will be recognized by their shirt and their wristbands. Your altar captain will be your go-to person. We will have our altar captains will have radios in case an emergency comes up. We will have a radio, and they will be your go-to person. If somebody starts to manifest, if somebody slips and falls, go to your altar captain, the person designated to your section. They will help you. If for some reason we need to call an emergency, the ambulance, we're also paying for that service. It will be provided. So don't try to pick somebody up. Don't do that. Or don't drag them out. Please don't do that. We don't want you to be sued, and I don't want to be sued either. Help us, Lord. Use wisdom, okay? So contact your altar captain, and we will make sure that we have the right emergency services needed for anything that could come up. Okay. Please use the remaining time before the service to pray over your section and intercede for the people that will attend the gathering. You are responsible for your section. To increase chances of keeping your seat, please limit movement outside of your section as we approach starting time. Again, you may need to go to the restroom. Notify your altar captain. We just want to know. I'm not saying you can't use the restroom. You got to hold it all 8 hours. No. Just let us know. Just communicate. That's all we ask. The altar call. And here's the breakdown. Leah Ramirez. Leah will preach the gospel. She's going to make the invitation for people to respond to the message of salvation. Leah asks respondents to step out of their seats and come forward at the altar area in front of the stage. Now that's going to apply for the people on the field. As I mentioned before, if the person is responding to the message and they're in the stands, I'm afraid that if they come down and they smell the hot dogs from the concession stand, they're going to be distracted. The enemy is going to use anything that he can to distract people from responding to their healing, to their salvation. So we don't want to do that. Right where they are and right where you are, be aware, be available, look around. See, again, something's going to happen. It happens every time. Somebody has a problem or they make a typo when they're dialing in the message. It's okay. We're going to have our decision card right there. Hi, my name is Larry. How can I help you? It's okay. Steve, thank you so much, Steve. We love you. Praying for you. God bless you. Go to the next person. Look around. We don't want you to spend your entire time ministering to one person. We want you to look around and consolidate as many people as possible. We would love to see 7,000 people respond to the altar call. Come on. But if we only record 1,000 people that responded to the altar call because we didn't look around or you may get caught up in the moment. The Holy Spirit may work on you while you're helping that person. Listen, just look around. Remember, we are here to catch the harvest of souls. So stay on track. Volunteers with A on their badge will come down to the altar, as we mentioned. Volunteers with the B section on their badge will respond to the altar call. Initially we were gonna have everybody come down, but we changed that last minute. I think Thursday. So please, I needed to make, I guess, more changes on this notes. My fault. Forgive me. Do you forgive me?
Yes.
Thank you. So let me reiterate, just because this is a little different, this written is a little different than what we're asking you to do. If you're in section B and your section is the stand on section B, please stay in that area. Section C, same thing that pertains to you. Stay in your section. Stay in your section so that we can make sure that we consolidate the men and women and young people that respond to the altar at that time. If you are in a group that is not initially responding, we ask you to remain in an atmosphere of prayer. We also encourage you to look around for respondents who raised their hand but did not walk down to the altar. This happens every time. We will have, this is so awesome. We'll have people that, man, it's my goal to catch 10 people, and they sign 10 people up. And we might be great at observing them. We might be a little shy, not as aggressive as that person who signed up 10 people. Awesome. Just be helpful, be observant, look around, remain in prayer, look around. It's really, it's amazing. It fills your heart with joy when you see people respond to the gospel. And I have seen children outrun their parents to the altar. Beautiful. In fact, our son Judah, 7 years ago, when Evangelist Reinhard Bonnke, he shares this word. The Lord put it on his heart to turn his attention towards America. And he began to preach, America shall be saved. And we helped coordinate the very first gospel campaign. Well, our son Judah heard Evangelist Reinhard Bonnke preach the gospel. I think he was 6 or 7 at the time. And Evangelist Bonnke says, he gives the altar call, and he says, let me see your hand. I want to see your hand. Judah stood on his chair, and he was screaming, Evangelist Bonnke, I'm right here. Boy, he's never responded. He grabbed me by the hand, and he led me down to the altar. I'm telling you, when the gospel is preached, our children will respond. It's beautiful. Okay. Please wait for the prayer of salvation to conclude before interacting. Really, really important. I know in your home church, in our home churches, we're used to doing the job, and the pastor's not finished with the message, and we're already consolidating. We're asking you, wait for the instructions from Leah, or for the whole message to go through. We're going to have translation. So just wait a moment. Wait for the message to be clear. Wait for the person to respond, and then step in. Then make contact with the person that you're consolidating. Really, really important. Leah, they will lead this person, the people, through the prayer of salvation. And then, boom, then we step in. Instructions for new converts, start filling out the digital card. Okay, so I've already gone over that. If the respondent is unable to fill out the mobile decision, please fill out the physical card. We're reiterating this because we want to make sure that we are ready, that you are ready, and that you have the necessary information with you. Please be prepared to connect with several new converts for assistance. Please give decision cards to the altar captains, recognized by their shirts and their wristbands before leaving the altar call. Yes, so important. Don't take these decision cards home. Don't take them home, please. We want to make sure that we can send these new converts information. We have told the pastors here that we are not that we are going to send them the list of new converts that respond to the gospel. In other words, if somebody comes to the event and they're not a believer, but they were invited by a church member, by Simeon at Abundant Grace, Simeon brought 10 people that were not believers to this event, and we want to make sure that we consolidate them, and we want to make sure that we send those 10 souls right back to Abundant Grace. Come on. We're not going to send those souls to San Juan, Texas. Ain't going to do that. We're not going to refer these souls to a church across town. If they came with Simeon, we want to make sure that they come right back to Simeon and to Abundant Grace for them to disciple these new converts. If they came with you and your church is the Door of Hope, we want to make sure that we send those 10 names, those 10 souls, right back to Door of Hope for you to disciple. We are not going to disciple them. Larry and Leah are not going to disciple them. You guys know the story. We own a 42-foot fifth wheel. We're going to the next town. We're not sticking around. We love you. We'll see you again. But we believe we have another assignment in the next town. It could be Laredo. It could be Brownsville. Wherever it is, we're going to that area. That's our assignment. So we want to make sure that we are able to distribute the decision cards to the church, the pastors, and just have integrity with what we said we were going to do. Yes, ma'am.
Are we able to fill out the decision cards on our phone or their message?
If you do, you would receive the follow-up information. So the reason this is still in the works is we are trying to have discipleship information for the new converts. So in addition to us, we will collect their information. We want to be able to send them some basic discipleship information like have a Bible, go to church, worship Jesus. Basic information for them to follow Jesus. Find a local church. Provide on our website are the names of all the participating churches. Is that cool?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell somebody, you have to go to Abundant Grace. I said I got saved there, I got married there, I got baptized there. Now you have. We don't want to do that. We would love for them to come. Absolutely. We would love for them to go to your church. But brothers, I can't force somebody. And the best thing I can do is have the names of all the participating churches. It's help us, Lord. Okay. Make sure. Okay. Double check. Hold on. You know what I did? I lost my spot. Is that where I'm at? That's where I thought I was. Filling out the physical decision cards. We need you, the altar worker, to collect all the respondents' information with follow-up process. Please print legibly. So important. So important. Please print legibly on the decision card. Some of us may have real poor handwriting, so take your time. Take your time. Fill this out as legibly as possible. Do not give the card to the respondent to fill out. If you give it to them, you may not get it back. They may not want to share their information with you. And if that happens, it's okay. We still love you. We wish we had your information. If the individual objects or retaliates, we would simply like to connect with you after today and give you the opportunity to grow in your new walk with Christ. If we cannot connect with them somehow, then they cannot be followed up on with correctly. If the person absolutely refuses to give any information, then we write no information on the card, on the decision card. And we will have now that you are saved booklet. We're going to give that to them. Double check that the new believer, that all the fields on the cards are completed and correct. Make sure that the telephone number and emails are legible and carefully ambiguous characters. For example, lowercase 1 or L. Okay, the number 1 look very similar and can result in incorrect data entry. Very important. The 1, the L, you've seen this sometimes. The G's look like a 6. Just be careful. Zeros as opposed to the letter O. If it's an O, if it's a zero, draw a line through it. Does that make sense? Capital L's would be helpful. If the person is absolutely refuses, no information, okay. When the decision card has been filled out, please make sure that it is turned in. You hear us emphasizing how important it is to capture their information. We want to make sure that we just, these people, these are souls. These are beautiful souls. These are like gold to us. You have to see this is your harvest. How are we going to treat these baby Christians? We want to go out of our way to let them know they are welcome into the kingdom, they are loved, and now we're going to disciple them. We want them to develop and grow in Christ. After the altar call, take all completed and unused decision cards to an altar captain recognizable by the shirts and the wristbands before leaving the altar area. Do not lose, misplace, or leave the venue with completed decision cards or give to anyone else but your altar captains. We are doing this crusade to make disciples, not converts. This is impossible without an effective follow-up, and the effective follow-up is impossible without the decision cards. The information collected on the decision card is confidential and strictly used for follow-up by our team, our lead pastors, the pastors that are helping us bring this together. We are going to be responsible for every decision card that is filled out. Please turn all extra empty decision cards. Under no circumstances are you to take any leftover decision cards home with you. These cards are critical for our count of new converts. Based on how well both the digital and the physical cards are filled out, or our follow-up team determines what cards will be assigned to what church, it is important that they are complete the process. Really, really important. I probably don't need to say this. I'm going to say it. This is hard for me to say. You might be attracted to that person. Oh God, I've been praying for my husband. Oh Jesus, my wife. You might be attracted to that person. Can I get your number? Yes. What's your name again? We'll take a photo of that. Listen. Oh Lord. I know I don't need to say that here, not in this room. But I'm talking about another room. Somebody else that's been praying for their husband or what. Listen, I'm being light. I know you're bringing your husband, your wife. And it ain't that brand new baby Christian. Ew. No. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I had to say that. I felt it was important. But you see why this means so much to us and why we want you to hear and hear me emphasize these new converts are gold. They're babies. And we want to treat them that way. We want to be accountable for these sweet souls. Okay? Thanks for letting me have a little bit of fun. Do's and don'ts. Do always smile and be courteous. Do stay aware of where an altar captain is at all times. Do alert an altar captain and or an usher about disturbances or issues. Again, we're trying to protect you. Hear that? We want to protect you. If somebody, you see a couple, they're arguing, or they're fighting, or they came, whatever. They may be intoxicated. I don't know. You don't know. We're not asking you to intervene and break up a fight. Don't do that. Find your altar captain, brother, sister, Larry, Joe, Louie. Need some help over here. We'll come and we'll step in. I'm a big guy. I can handle that. I'm not saying that you can't. I just want to protect you. That's it. We just want to protect you. We don't want anybody being hurt, and we don't want anyone feeling rejected either. Okay? Do stay in control of the situation and conversation. The individual may try to take control or steer an exchange into a drawn-out monologue. This happens all the time. You know, you get in front of somebody and they want to argue. They want to argue because they were brought up in a different denomination than you are. And they saw somebody raising their hands and they're not used to doing that or seeing that. They may try to pull you into an argument. Steer clear from that. We're not here to argue. We're not here to debate. We're not here to, I'm going to have my Bible there, but I'm not here to hit anybody in the head with my Bible. I'm not here to do that. Do return to your section to intercede for the remainder of the service after the altar call is concluded. Do turn in your completed and unused cards at the end of the night. No cards go home with you. Do not give out your personal information. Please. This may put you at risk, and also ask for the nations. Fill the bowls is not responsible for any liabilities if you do that. Just want you to know. We are being responsible with everything that we can, and we want to keep you safe. We don't want you to engage in anything that could endanger your life or ours. Okay? Do not give advice or counsel. We will have trained counselors at the event. You're an altar team member. You're not a lawyer or a professional counselor. Some of you may be attorneys. Some of you may be counselors. However, for this day, to limit our liability or any risk of being sued, we have teams that they're already trained and they have already been established for the day of, for counseling or extra ministry. Especially if it is someone of the opposite sex, even an individual approaches you, kindly let them know that a female or a male altar worker will be there in a moment. Some flexibility on this. Okay, listen, I said it jokingly, but we may have brand new converts. They've never seen this, and they fall in love with Jesus, and now they are seeing you through the eyes, through the lens, and you are beautiful, and you are. And they may find an attraction in you, and they are seeing Christ in you, the hope of glory. You are married. What's that mean? What's that chick? Use wisdom, please. Do not engage in excessive physical contact. Some people are not used to this, and it may make them feel uncomfortable. That's the truth. I know we're from a Latin community, and we all hug. I'm used to kissing my uncle on both cheeks. The first time I did that to a white guy, they were like, squaring up. Sorry, dude. I didn't mean anything by it. You know what I'm talking about. Do not lose or misplace completed decision cards. They are gold. Turn in your decision cards. And that, my friends, concludes. Oh, wait, I want you to see this. we printed out these decision cards. They're big. They're not gonna be this size on the day of the event. We printed these out. We made these available for you so that you can be familiar with it. We are asking their name, their email address, their zip code. Why are we asking for their zip codes? We may have guests from Brownsville. I'm not gonna send that person from Brownsville to a church in Laredo. We are working with churches in the Brownsville region. We're working with churches in Weslaco, from Laredo to Brownsville. We have churches and church representatives that will be at this event. Yes, ma'am.
Will these cards be in English and Spanish?
We are working on the translation for that. What most likely will have, it will say something like name/nombre. We're
What if
tr-
you're not bilingual?
Yeah,
It's okay. We'll have translators. Most of these folks are bilingual. You can grab one of us and we'll help. We will help each other out. Right, guys? Yes, ma'am.
Clarify exactly how, all the funds is dictated. They're gonna stay in the section, coming down the field. What is the section B and C here in the yellow again?
Yep, the
Is that
section,
where the sidewalk and the fence is, right at the bottom of the stand?
no, the section B would be, as the registration, as we go through registration, as soon as all of our all and volunteer workers come through, they'll be given a wristband with a section.
Okay.
And so those volunteers, once they go through the gate, they'll be given a section A, B, and C.
Use the whole area over there.
Correct. So I'm hoping to have 100 volunteers in section B. 100 altar call workers and volunteers.
That side of the city.
And so that section will have 100 volunteers, altar call workers. And as you can see, actually, section B will also have our ASL section. So the people that respond to the gospel, if they're in the stands, instead of asking them to walk down to the front of the stage, we're afraid of losing them. So we want our workers to go to them.
So they're gonna stay in their
They'll
seats,
stay in their seats.
and the ushers who have been signed to each one, they will go and help them fill out the
Yes.
card.
If the smartphone doesn't work,
Right,
then we'll use the hard cards.
all right.
Okay? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I know y'all have done this before, but we have a lot of questions that they're asking me, and I
Yeah.
don't know. They come into the stadium at 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
They stay till 6 o'clock or before to do the altar call.
Yeah.
What if they start leaving? Do we ask them or do we present the gospel to them? That's where, that's the question. I don't know if people here will stay.
Yeah, we haven't exactly determined what time we want to present the gospel because we're aware of that.
Yeah.
So instead of saying at 6 o'clock, we're gonna present, we're not gonna do that. Most likely because we know it will be a long day. The thought has been, to be flexible on when the gospel will be preached. And
Why
when that
would
will
they,
be.
why would they? What Christian?
Yeah.
Why would non-Christians stay?
I know the presence of
What are
the
you
Lord
doing?
will be there, and I know that it will be, people draw them here, but I believe they'll start leaving and then some will leave them, they'll all start.
Yeah. Some folks, we may not be able to control that. Pardon?
Wouldn't it be good to
Yes,
present the
that's
gospel?
That actually came up in conversation on Thursday.
Yeah.
And Leah presented our 3 worship teams with that possibility to be ready for an altar call 3 times on the day of. So it has been a discussion, and I wish I could tell you it's in stone and we're gonna do it this way. We are trying to be flexible, but that is a great question. And we want you to know, we discussed this with our worship team on Thursday. We want this is awesome. We have a youth-led worship team.
Yes.
And we asked this youth-led worship team to be ready for the altar call while they are leading. And we picked up, I think, 2 songs, Hallelujah and I Surrender. We've asked all 3 teams to be ready because we're anticipating something like that, but we don't know. Yeah, and for sure. And so we want to make sure if that happens, we are all ready. And really, that's another reason why we expanded this or extended this. And I'm asking you, if you signed up to be a prayer volunteer, or you want to work in concessions, and we have 100 people wanting to work in concessions and 2 people in the prayer line, you know what? We're going to pull some of you over to the prayer line. Okay? We need everybody to be trained as an altar worker. Yes, ma'am.
I noticed there was a section on the map for the children's station.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we encourage the participants' children to go there? Or are they gonna stay with their parents?
Okay, I'll come to you.
Hi, my name is Veronica Gomez. I'll be in charge of that section. So what we're anticipating for that particular day is we are encouraging for the parent to be with the child. Okay, we don't want to be responsible for the parent to leave them there and then they think it's like a daycare type of service type of thing. No, we do encourage the parent to stay there. And whoever wants to volunteer in that group, we will have specific things that we will do in that particular department as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Speaking of keeping minors protected, I noticed that the age is 14. Are we taking information for children younger than 14 as well? And how are we keeping that?
I would
separate?
honestly, because of that reason, we just have to be very careful. If a 7-year-old child comes forward, we want to look for their parent.
Yeah.
If it's a minor, someone under 14 years old, because of the things that happen at the border, I don't want to draw attention too much to that, but we're aware of the human trafficking that takes place. You may consolidate somebody that is currently being trafficked. You want to ask for their adult, whoever they came with, if they're under 14. You want to look for that person. I'm being honest, we've been able to rescue people, souls out of the hands of traffickers. So just be aware of that. And so that
Could I possibly make a suggestion?
yes, ma'am.
To have a separate color coordinated card for children who are possibly who look under 18.
Mhm. That's a great suggestion.
Minimal information.
That is a great suggestion. Can somebody write that down? My assistant. Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am. Question in the back? Well, thank you for asking. Our goal is to have our budget fully paid before the day of the event. Okay, this is our goal. We want to have, and you might know business people who would want to sow into this event. Our goal would be to have the entire, I believe it's a $40,000 budget to pay the entire the staging and the entire production. If we do not meet our goal before the day of the event, we will collect an offering to pay anything that's outstanding. However, if we have more funds come in, what we want to do is collect an offering on the day of the event, and we want to sow that into the next stage. We want the momentum to keep going. We want to be able to say, you know what, if it's Reynosa, Reynosa. We're starting with a $10,000 surplus, and let's get this whole thing done with the $10,000 budget. Things are more economical in Mexico, but our goal is to do that. We want to pay every event forward as much as possible. Yes, sir.
there might be, parents that are not safe.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be taking their children to that area, and they don't have anybody else. Is there gonna be somebody there, that will also be able to minister to mom or dad? In that aspect, because we do not wanna lose that way. They might be going out there with the understanding that they're going to leave their child there at the children area. They're gonna, they're dropping off there, they're not aware of what's gonna happen. So in their mindset, they might be thinking, well, if we get a children area, I'll be able to take my kids over here and I'll get that message. But if we're not going to do that and mom and dad have to stay there with the child, will there be something there in place for mom and dad?
That's a great question. Did you guys hear that? Well, we're gonna discuss that. We'll discuss that tomorrow, Monday, or our next internship meeting. Pardon? We have a meeting on Wednesday. My assistant Janaya is, Janaya will be making notes for us. She's doing that for me now. And, we will have an answer for you and provide that answer for sure on the day, before the day of the event via email. Okay? Yes, ma'am?
For the people that are born in aren't able to stay the whole time there, only maybe like the morning or the afternoon shift. Is there something like that available?
Yes. Yeah, if you can only volunteer for 2 hours, we understand. We want you all to stay all day, but we know that some of you may have to go. We 100% understand. Just don't all of you leave at 2 o'clock. Yes. The registration. Mhm. So we get you through registration by 9 a.m. That's it. We're gonna close the registration for volunteers at that time. That's just so that we can make sure we know how many volunteers are there at the opening of the day, start of the day.
So you could just go register,
Yes, ma'am.
and then if you're able to come in the evening, you come in afternoon.
No, because we'll close the registration. We want you to come in the morning, go through registration. I don't have the staff to keep somebody there all day. So if you can only volunteer for 2 hours, give us your best 2 hours. Okay? I won't have somebody there all day to give you a badge or a wristband. Okay? Let me get some folks in the back and then I'll move to the front. Yes, ma'am? In the blue?
Do you have the training information in Spanish? Because I have a lady that wants to help that day the whole day, but I can give it to her.
No. Yeah, that'd be great. You have a gift. Sister, the Lord's called upon you to translate. I love it. There was someone next to you that raised their hand as well. Okay, yes, ma'am. In the back, and then I'll come here, and then, oh, Sandra. Yes, ma'am. It is not going to be repeated on Facebook again. However, if you represent a congregation, yes, sir?
It's, it has been streamed on YouTube, that we can send links out to. So
Yes.
there's a recording of this stream that we can send out to people who aren't here.
So the answer to your question is, we've recorded this video on YouTube. We will gladly submit to you a recorded YouTube presentation of today's teachings. Thank you. Yes, ma'am? Okay.
So if someone can only come in the afternoon, can they come and register in the morning, leave, and then come back in the afternoon?
Yes. Just to make it easy, yes, I would prefer that you stay, but if that's what you can give us, then we are thankful for you and for any focused time that you can serve during the day.
So if they have to leave, say they came registered and they had to leave, say at noon. So they just tell your
Altar captain?
altar captain
Yes,
that you're leaving and they'll fill it in.
yes. Yes. Sandra?
Do you have an agenda for the day that will be, kind of like
like an outline, because when I look at the how to respond, it's kind of confuses me, because volunteers with an A on their badge will come down to the altar when they have asked volunteers to fund from the altar area. And then volunteers with the B and, et cetera. But
Yeah, that was, I made a point, I made a mistake, I should have taken that information out. Usually we ask people to come down to the front of the stage, but I'm afraid of losing.
right, okay.
So that was my fault, I should have changed that before, but we are going to ask section A to remain in the section A area. Section B to remain in the section B area.
So everyone's remaining in their section.
Yes, ma'am,
Not coming down.
not coming down. Yep,
And then if we're like, if we wanna be in the ministry tent or something like that, does any of this apply? Like, we
the
can
ministry
sign up for
tent team has already, we have hand selected
different- okay,
a,
Well,
a-
there are other things that we signed up for.
yes,
Do they do the same thing, or are we the altar? People that sign up for the altar call?
yes. If you signed up for another section, we want you to be a bifold minister for this day. Okay, if you signed up to work in the concessions, just in case you are in rotation at the time of the altar call and you are not working in concessions, we want you to be available to help us during the altar call.
So the altar call is open pretty much everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's why we did this as a broad training. Now, our goal is to have a breakout session with the different departments. But if you sign up for prayer, we have some prayer team captains that will be overseeing the time of prayer. In other words, if you sign up to be part of the prayer team, okay, we have Brother Marion Yoder. He's going to oversee the prayer for the day. And the goal is we want to ask you to pray. Just remain in the spirit of prayer for the day. Many distractions have already come up. I can't even go into detail for things that have happened. And you don't need to know. What you need to know is Jesus is King, and His glory has come. His kingdom is being established through you. Let me before I answer your question back there, and I will. Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
So maybe there's like a schedule for the altar campus, kind of, let people,
Yes. Yes. However, because of the agreement we have with the stadium, your tacos may not go through the gate. All of our volunteers are in the parking lot. Don't call an altar call now. That's why we emphasize we want you to prepare your food beforehand. We don't want to lose anybody. You could go to Run Tacos and you get a flat. Dang, my tire changer guy is at the stadium. And I don't know how to change the tire. And now you're stuck. I just want us to be proactive. And I would even suggest, and I'm gonna put something heavy on you right now. You ready? Holy Ghost, right there. Listen, Sunday, February the 9th, this Sunday, we are starting a 21-day fast leading up to the day. It's not that hard. Take it from me. You can do it. I can do it. I know you can do it. Push away from the table and press into God. through prayer and fasting. Now, if you have medication and you have to take medication and you have to eat your crackers, praise the Lord. Bring your crackers. Yes. Please try to be there all day. We're asking you for all day. We need your help. It's one day. It's 8 hours. Push away from the table if you need to. I don't want to answer and make this thing all about the food. I want to think about Jesus. And I know we're getting close to noon. It's noon. That's why the food's coming up. We what we have done, we were having 2 tents. There was a ministry tent and a prayer tent. It's too confusing. It's too confusing, so we have a ministry tent only. And if you signed up for prayer or to be part of the prayer team, you're going to ask Pastor Marion Yoder, to oversee the prayer for the day. I would love to have a focused time for us to prophesy over you. But you know the word. We're not going to do that. This is not about me. It's not about you. It's about Jesus and the harvest that we're praying for. Please don't come with this mentality that I've come to be prophesied over again. No, it's not about us. Did I offend somebody? No. Thanks. I mean, I just wanted to say that because it's just getting too confusing. However, if you see somebody that's like, their head starts spinning, listen, that's a red alert. Okay, I need an altar captain. Altar captain, I need help over here. Would you please help me bring this person? We'll bring an ambulance if we need to. But before we send them to the ambulance, we have a ministry tent. If we see somebody that is manifesting, if they are throwing up, or all of a sudden they get a bloody nose, sometimes it's not the heat. Sometimes they're manifesting out of offense. You need to be discerning. You need to be aware. That person needs extra prayer. We're going to bring them to the ministry tent. And
we ask them, would you like some personal prayer? If
Absolutely.
they say yes, you take them to the captain, and the captain sends them, and we'll take them to the tent.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to send, 7,000 people to the ministry tent. We're believing that Jesus is going to encounter these people and they're going to be healed and delivered instantly. That's what I'm believing for. However, if we need and we want to be prepared in case something comes up, that's why we have a ministry tent available. That ministry tent, just so you know, it will be covered so that we keep privacy. We help protect people. We're not here to expose people and make people a spectacle. We're not here to embarrass anybody or draw attention to the enemy either. Okay? If somebody needs special care, we are prepared to also make an appointment with them. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned Mexico.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to do an event there soon?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we participate in that?
Would love for you to. I just can't be responsible for you.
Well,
No.
the other question is there a method of communication? Like, we all give you our email addresses, but I know you're not sending out to everybody. But how do we communicate with you?
The same way that we have established a website here for Fill the Bowls US, we will add Fill the Bowls MEX, Mexico. We believe we're going to begin to see more pastors. In fact, Matamoros contacted us already. They want to get their own stadium. I mean, this thing is happening. It's happening. Your word is happening. It's God's heart to see the Rio Grande Valley become the greatest missions sending base for all of the world. And so it's gonna start, this is just the beginning. This is like the first strike. It's the first strike of many to come. We're just scratching the surface. And listen to the faith and the love and the unity that's beginning to happen. They are writing a book about you right now. You are in that history book. And we have a great crowd of witnesses watching you, and they're cheering you on. I love this. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that you only have one ministry. So you have here prayer, you have these volunteers. So and you said you already selected people for the ministry.
Yes, ma'am.
So then checking prayer is not really the.
Correct. And that's why I made that point at the beginning. I do apologize if you did sign up for minutes for prayer. We're just gonna ask you to pray throughout the day, and I'm gonna speak with Pastor Marion, and he'll be our altar captain for that day. Excuse me, our floor manager for the prayer team for that day. Any more questions? Did I leave anybody out? Did I answer? Yes, ma'am.
We wanted everybody here to sign in, like.
Yes, ma'am.
And we need to turn this into you.
Yes, if you have your slip, please turn these in. We need to make sure that you filled it out properly, you signed it, dated it. We have your email and phone number. Sebastian will be right here. We want to thank you. So, was this good?
Yeah.
Wow, give yourself a round of applause. Thank you. It is 12:05. If you have not filled out your volunteer application, please take a moment to fill these out, turn them in. If you know somebody else that wants to register, look around. We need a lot more laborers. We need more helpers. Volunteer, altar workers, we need your help. Oh, yes, ma'am? Yeah, the purpose for the recording was so that we can have this information available to email, but we have to absolutely, it's imperative that we have your hold harmless, your application filled out for that reason. And we can send the video, which was why I mentioned it in the notes. Yes, ma'am.
How do we know for sure that you got our report?
Have you received any updates? Do we have your, did you register? Okay, I wanna ask everybody, well, we will send an update. How did you find out about this meeting? Your I love your pastor. What's his name? Oh, I love Penny and Fernando. Man, I've known those guys for years. What we will do is we will send everybody an email thanking you for coming to the training, okay? So if you did not receive an email, please get a hold of us, okay? Something that we have not emphasized, and I need to maybe stress on this, and I would love to enlist all of you, says tickets are free. We just want you to register that so that we can know how many people are coming. I think we have 400 or 500 people registered already to attend. That number is low. We need to grow that number. And we want to ask you to please register on that website, letting us know that you're coming, so that we can prepare for you and your guests, okay? And get the word out. Tell everybody that you can. Yes, ma'am. The volunteers. The website has a tab, a volunteer tab. Please go there. You'll receive this form. Fill that out. Send it to us. Email it to us. Get it back to us as quickly as possible so we can add you to the registration. Yes, ma'am.
Because I was asked, well, how do I approach someone that I didn't know? So I was sitting at movies and I said, look, I grabbed one, I went to a table where I didn't know anybody, and I
to come together, not just through government or business. We want the valley to move forward with the Lord and get His blessings and to do it according to the Word of God as we anyway, these are the exact words I use, but this is the idea. You can reach someone by telling them we want to reach God, even if they're not, well, especially if they're not saved, but we want to reach God. And everybody's interested when you tell them that you're going to go pray to gather in unity, to ask the Lord to bless this place, that we can prosper.
Amen.
And they just want to come. After I did that, I got encouraged and I started going to
Praise God.
I mean, I spoke to people that were dressed in suits, people who were like dressed in t-shirts, people who were young and old, and they were all very receptive because we're gonna reach the Lord. Some of them were like, do we have to be there the whole day? Well, anyway, it was just a lot of questions. Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just want to make one more comment. If you don't receive this follow-up email, who do we contact? Can you give us an email of someone to email or a phone number?
You want to write down my phone number? Seriously. I answer my phone.
Every phone call, I am a witness.
This is my 18-year-old daughter. She's known me for 18 years. I answer every phone call.
Yes,
Even in Israel. That's right. My phone number, if you would like that information. Oh, let me say my number and then. My phone number, it's area code 407 340 0204. My first name is Larry. My last name is Ramirez. Yes. Yes, my phone number is area code 407 340 0204. If we missed you, if you missed any updates, anything, call me. I will answer. If I don't answer because Sandra called me and I'm on the phone with Sandra, I will call you back. But I'll call you back. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Is it okay if we take the buildable, thing, part of the church? We drove to Raymondville a few days ago, and we went to Wood Pay. We went to some small churches and paid for the door.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Can we put them in businesses if businesses say okay?
If the business will allow you to, yes. I just don't put it in people's mailbox. Don't tape it on their mailbox. That's, yes, the question is, can we take the fillables flyers and tape them on the church doors? They visited a church in Raymondville. My response was yes. I just don't want you to put it in somebody's mailbox, or don't put it on somebody's windshield, a car windshield. If it sticks to their windshield, it will glue to their windshield. And guess whose name and number is on that website? Mine. And I won't know if this sweet lady did it or if you did it. So please don't put it on cars. Please don't put them in mailboxes. Yes, ma'am. Ramirez. Ramirez. Now in America, it's Ramirez. You're the ballet. Ramirez. Thank you guys so much. You are so much fun. I know why your pastors love you. You are amazing. I love you. We thank you. Let me pray for you. Father, thank you. Thank you again for Dr. Joanna. Thank you for what you're doing at Abundant Grace. Thank you for their open doors. Thank you for James Keller and this word. Lord, we're believing again that we will see 1 million souls swept into the kingdom from Brownsville to Laredo, on both sides of the Rio Grande River. Thank you that this is just the first strike. Thank you for these laborers who've come today, willing, teachable, ready, and now activated in Jesus' name. Thank you for them. Thank you for their lives. And in advance, I pray for their food. Yeah. Amen. Amen. Thank you, guys. Please see Sebastian before we leave. Hold on before you leave. I forgot something. Please forgive me. Sebastian has an announcement that I forgot to make. Just a moment.
Hey, everybody, I will let you go in just 2 seconds. The week before Fill the Bowls, we're having Missions Week here in this very room at Abundant Grace, which is, we're going to do prayer meetings in the morning and in the evening and have an 111-hour worship burn going for the entire week. So we'll be worshiping continuously from this very room. If you want to be involved, if you want to come, and we're going to do some activation and outreach and evangelism, praying for healing, praying for the prophetic, all that kind of stuff. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to go and reach the valley as well. So if you want to be involved with that, bring
What
people.
day?
It's the 24th through the 28th, so the Monday through Friday. Yeah, just wanted to let you know about that. You're released. Be blessed.
Very exciting.